Today in history, April 23rd, write that date down. Because on that single day, separated by exactly 52 years, the greatest writer in the English language was allegedly born and then died. Same date, same man, Shakespeare. And here's where it gets strange. We don't actually know if either of those dates is real. Here's what history books give you. William Shakespeare, born April 23rd, 1564, in Stratford-upon-Avon. Dies April 23rd, 1616. A poetic symmetry that feels almost too perfect. And that's because it probably is. The birth date? Completely unverified. What we do have is a baptism record dated April 26th. The birth date of April 23rd was essentially assigned retroactively, centuries later, by scholars who perhaps wanted the story to feel more complete. More Shakespearean. But wait, even the death date is complicated, because in 1616, England was still running on the Julian calendar. The rest of Europe had already switched to the Gregorian calendar, the one you use right now. That 10-day difference means Shakespeare's death on April 23rd in England was actually May 3rd by the calendar the modern world uses. So the beautiful symmetry, the birth and death on the same day story, was built on two different timekeeping systems that don't actually align. History handed us a myth, and we kept it because it sounded better than the truth. So if we can't trust the dates, what can we trust about the man? Very little, it turns out. We have 6 verified signatures. 6. And they all spell his name differently. We have no manuscripts written in his hand. We have 2 portraits, both created after his death. And we have a will. A will that is, frankly, bizarre. Shakespeare, the man who wrote the most psychologically complex characters in literary history, apparently had very little to say about his wife of 34 years. And Hathaway, not that one, received a single bequest. One line, "I give unto my wife my second best bed." Scholars have been arguing about that bed for 400 years. Was it an insult, a final, legally binding cold shoulder from beyond the grave? Or was it actually a tender gesture? In Elizabethan custom, the best bed was kept for guests. The second best bed was the marital bed, the one they actually slept in together. If that reading is correct, it transforms the entire meaning of the bequest. Shakespeare left his wife the bed where they lived their private life together. But here's the darker reading. He left her nothing else. Not the house, not the money, not the prestige, just a bed. Shakespeare died on April 23rd, 1616, by the Julian calendar and was buried 2 days later inside Holy Trinity Church in Stratford-upon-Avon. He didn't purchase a grand monument. He purchased something far more valuable in that era, a burial plot inside the church. Right beneath the chancel floor and above that floor, he had something engraved that is either a deeply personal spiritual statement or the most effective practical joke in literary history. A curse, carved in stone, for anyone who dare disturb his bones. The curse reads, "Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear / to dig the dust enclosed here / blessed be the man that spares these stones / and cursed be he that moves my bones." It is one of the most famous epitaphs in the world. And for 400 years, it worked. Nobody touched the grave. Nobody dug. Nobody looked beneath. The bones of William Shakespeare rested, undisturbed, supposedly for 4 centuries. Until 2016, when a team of researchers decided they didn't need to dig at all. Using ground-penetrating radar, the same technology archaeologists use to map buried structures without excavation, a team led by Kevin Calls of Staffordshire University scanned beneath the church floor. What they found stopped them cold. Shakespeare's grave was shallower than expected. The skull area showed a distinct disturbance, an anomaly that was inconsistent with the rest of the burial. Someone at some point had been inside that grave, and the skull appeared to be gone. Now here's where history gets genuinely sinister. In 1794, 178 years after Shakespeare's death, a magazine called the Gentleman's Magazine published a story. A group of men, it claimed, had broken into Holy Trinity Church and stolen Shakespeare's skull. The ringleader? A man named Frank Chambers. The motive? To sell it to a wealthy collector. The article was sensational. Most historians dismissed it as fiction. Then the radar came back. and the anomaly was right where the skull should have been. Suddenly, a 200-year-old tabloid story started looking a lot more like a confession. But the story doesn't end there, because it never ends cleanly with Shakespeare. In 2016, a church in Worcestershire named St. Leonard's claimed they had Shakespeare's skull. Not a rumor. An actual skull, held in a niche in their church wall, with a local tradition connecting it directly to the 1794 theft. The skull sits in St. Leonard's to this day, unverified, unclaimed, unstudied further. So let's hold all of this at once. A man born on a date we invented, who died on a date that depends on which calendar you believe, who left his wife a bed and a mystery, grave carries a 400-year-old curse that may or may not have failed, whose skull may be sitting in a church unexamined, 35 miles from where it belongs. We have given this man the title of greatest writer in the English language, possibly in any language, and we cannot verify his handwriting, his face, his birth, or even where his head currently is. And maybe that's the most Shakespearean thing of all. He spent his career writing characters defined by what we can't quite see. Hamlet's true motivation, Iago's real madness, Lear's blindness to truth. He built an entire body of work around the gap between what people show and what they are, pulled the curtain closed behind him, and left us with exactly that, the gap. The mystery, the unanswered question, the same one his characters always circled. Who is this person, really? And what do they want us to know? Here's your question for today, and I genuinely want your answer in the comments. If scientists offered to fully excavate Shakespeare's grave tomorrow, answer every question, find the skull, or confirm it's gone, run the DNA. Does solving the mystery honor him? Or does leaving it intact honor the curse he carved himself? Think about it.